My name is Elena. I am from Romania. I'm a recent master's graduate. My major is European Administrative Studies. For the moment, I'm just a graduate and I'm searching for a job. And I want to talk a little bit about my experience as a student and as an Erasmus student.
Elena, why did you choose Bucharest National School?
Well, as most of students, it was in my home country. It was close to my home city, or closer, not that close, but closer. And it was the capital of Romania. So the opportunities are much more there than in other cities, smaller cities, for example. And also the specific university, National School of Political and Public Administration. I chose it because my friends recommended it to me. So it was not just 100% my decision, but it was in my list.
How did you enter in this school? It was difficult?
No, actually, the admission was very easy. Actually, nothing to do with what I was going to study. But the point is that, as I saw, a lot of universities, the admission is easy, but it's hard for you to stay in that university or eventually graduate from it. Like, we entered 150 students. I think we graduated in the first series 50 max, which says a lot about the quality of the students also, not just the university.
Good. Elena, you Erasmus one semester at Autonomous University of Lisbon. How did you get it?
First things first, my home university is very open-minded. The professors, actually the Erasmus coordinators, are begging us to go Erasmus. So they are like, okay, we have so many spots, you should go. So it was easier because I heard that a lot of universities have very strict policies regarding who's going in Erasmus, while my university is easygoing regarding this. They push us to challenge ourselves. So, well, I always wanted to visit Portugal. I wanted, like, being an Eastern European, I want to live in the far west. And also, I'm a Latina, so I wanted a warm country. So I chose, Portugal.
And your first days in Lisbon, what did you like? What difficult did you have?
Well, I should mention, it's a very important aspect that I was an Erasmus student, and my first experience was during COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. So the challenges were bigger than the average ones usually. So I didn't have many difficulties because I left with my best friend. We were colleagues, so I had the safe net with me. But the experience itself there was nothing what I heard of, because you couldn't see a lot of people on the streets. You had those restrictions, but it was really nice, and it was, in the beginning, was full of students. Actually, the restrictions were not that much as it was in the rest of Europe. So it was actually good for us.
And what can you say about university in general?
Well, I had online classes and classes that were face-to-face were in Portugal. I think in Erasmus, this is the main issue, and what scares students most is that they don't speak the language, and most of the universities, or some of them, require the language of the country. So in Italy you need to speak Italian, in France you need to speak French, or in Germany you need to speak German. Actually, it was written on the contract. So for this it may be hard, but here it depends on you and on the professors as well. Like, some professors were like, I don't care that you don't understand, you should be like the rest of the students. And some professors were like, oh, you're Erasmus, good job, go and have fun, visit the country, stuff like this. So here you need to have, I would say, an open-mindedness, to be open to those kind of experiences, and a good communication with your home university and with the host university, you know. But usually people are helping you. Like in Erasmus, you find ways.
Elena, and your second Erasmus at the Marmara University in Istanbul. How did you get it?
Again, I was saying like, okay, where I should go next, and my home university was like, okay, do you want to go here, here, here? Because okay, it was again with COVID. So a lot of universities were closed. A lot of other universities were like, okay, we accept only an amount of students, maybe not that many. But actually, Turkey during that time, so at that point was winter 2020, 2021. So the scary part of COVID started to melt a little bit. So Turkey was like, okay, we accept her. That it's okay. They were like very open towards anyone that wanted to come, actually. So it wasn't that hard at all for me.
Elena, and what about Istanbul, like a city? What difficulty did you have?
Well, there you have like Istanbul. Napoleon said that it's the capital of the world if the world would be only one country. So that's true, because literally there you find all the nationalities on this planet, everybody from everywhere around the world. So it might be challenging because depends like regarding the culture. Okay, Istanbul, you'll feel that European vibe. You'll feel the open-mindedness. You won't feel like you are in a strict Muslim country, let's say like this, because they are Muslims. But if you go outside Istanbul, because we like to travel and visit, right? You are in Turkey because you want to check the culture there and see what's going on. When you go outside Istanbul, you'll feel actually that in Turkey, you have Istanbul, Ankara, the capital, and the rest of Turkey. That's what it feels like. But it was a really nice city.
And what can you say about the university?
Well, Marmara is not a hard university. Of course, as I said before, everywhere you can find professors where they are helpful or professors that are very strict. So in terms of studies, yes, they demanded, actually compared to Portugal, the professors at Marmara were more demanding than the ones in Portugal. But I'm not sure if this applies general, because again, it was online classes. They were online classes, and it was the pandemic. So we all know what happened during pandemic with schools. So I don't know if I should say it that's general. But as a university, the staff, sometimes with the Erasmus office, you have to have patience with them. And you have to, how to say, like, if you need something, you have to go there once or twice, 3 times, and be more specific, because they are kind of like Latins, so slow going. But still, it's a nice university, a good university. I learned a lot there, actually, and the political science program that I took there was really, really good. I mean, the professors were... they knew what they were talking, actually, and they weren't talking only from the books. You could see that the professors were traveling in those countries where they were talking about from their experience and so on. And this I liked it very much, actually.
Elena, you studied in this university. What opportunities universities offer for students on program science and international relations?
About Autonoma except Erasmus, I'm not sure. About Lisbon, what other opportunities they have or programs, but I'm more acquainted with Marmara, and I know that except Erasmus, Marmara has other programs with Middle Eastern universities, because as I said, it's Istanbul, and university usually in Istanbul, they provide many opportunities for students all over the world, and especially for the this one in Middle Eastern parts or North Africa or Arabic countries that want to get closer to the European experience, let's say, because Marmara has some European vibes, some European mentalities. At some point, there's still two Muslims for my taste, but it's a very good university to have a rich experience, actually.
What are your monthly expenses in Lisbon and Istanbul, like a student?
Yeah, that's well, as a student being the capitals of those countries, the expenses were kind of high. It wasn't like a student city, you know. So let's say I think in Lisbon the average during COVID times were like around maybe 600, 700. But that's because usually we spend money on alcohol. So we spend a lot of money on alcohol. So that's why it was like kind of expensive. Or in Istanbul, where alcohol is very, very expensive compared to other countries. So, and in Istanbul, yeah, I think like this, I think around 700, 800, because the transportation is kind of expensive there. And if you don't get your student card soon, it's quite actually very expensive. But yeah, basically kind of this is like around 700, 800, I believe, to have a full, you know, to do everything you want. If you want to be stricter, yes. But it's actually depends on your management, how you manage your money, and because solutions you'll find. Yeah, actually being in Erasmus, you'll have friends, you'll meet with other students, so you won't be alone.
Yes, yes, of course. Elena, what plan do you have later in your career?
Yeah. For this, now that I finished and I did what I wanted to do with Erasmus, I promised myself that once it's finishing, I'm moving to Brussels, which I did. I am in Brussels and I'm searching for jobs at European Union institutions, mostly at the European Parliament and maybe NATO. Well, I'm getting mentally ready for that EPSO exam for the European Public Personnel. So basically, that's what I want to do. I want to stay in the field of policies, politics, administration, and European administration mostly.
Elena, what advices for students who want to take academic courses in Romania, Portugal, and Turkey you can advise?
Well, I wrote them down because I wanted to be sure that I won't forget something. So those 5 advices are from my experience as an Erasmus student. So the first one should be, and a very important one should be, never have high expectations and always be open to new experiences, because having high expectations from your professors, from university, you may end up being disappointed because maybe it's not what you thought about it's going to be. And so going with the flow helps you get closer to the reality of that country, of that maybe university. This is from my from my own experience, because I started to somehow with high expectations and they got ruined very quickly. So this should be a very important advice, I think. The second one should be never be afraid to ask for help from your professors or from your colleagues. Don't be proud when it comes to this, because at least someone you are going to be anyway. You're alone in a foreigner country mostly, and yeah, you should be afraid to say, because at least one person at one point will help you. Somebody will be there for you. So never be afraid to ask for help. Third one, again, should be don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's a very important one, but because I made so many mistakes in Erasmus that taught me valuable lessons. The bigger the mistake was, the bigger the valuable the lesson was. A fourth one should be have lots of fun, because, well, in Erasmus, you go study, but you also want to have fun and visit the country. So you are allowed to have lots of fun. You may skip some classes, but make sure that when the time is requiring, you give back to your studies 100%, and you focus on that, because balance is very important. So you won't get back with failed exams or too many failed exams, and for your Erasmus to be 100% how it should be. That's what I learned. And also always be yourself. Like, even if you are going in a country, for example, like I went to Turkey, which is a Muslim country where most of my friends were Muslims, and I'm Christian and open-minded, and I thought that I was scared to death there, that they will judge me for the way I'm thinking. Actually, it was just a stereotype. So stay true to your values and your beliefs while making room to new informations and experience, because Erasmus can help you grow amazingly if you allow it, of course. I think those are the 5 advices that I'm giving to the new students.